Hey, welcome to the channel. It's Jack, the muscle and mobility maker with Stronghold Strength and Conditioning. And today, I'm going to be showing you how to take your hip mobility sessions to the next level using Mobility Floss. But before we get into it, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine, and it doesn't get better than that. So take advantage of it. Ready? Let's go ahead and dive into this one. All right, like I said, today I'm going to be showing you how to take your mobility sessions for your hip to the next level using a tool called Mobility Floss. You might have also heard it called Voodoo Floss or rock tape or something along those lines. Those are all the same thing. Now, this is one of my favorite tools to use, and I say take it to the next level when we're using it because it's going to work in a couple different ways here. So when we use Mobility Floss, we're actually getting the benefits of self-myofascial release, and we're also taking advantage of the blood flow restriction effects of the floss itself. So I'm going to show you how to actually wrap this floss at your hip, okay? We're going to get into the hip crease, high at the hip here, and we're going to address those tissues which don't often get addressed through regular movements. And that's one of the favorite things, my favorite things about this tool is that you can use it in very movement specific manners. So if there's an issue or you're experiencing something of discomfort in a certain range or a certain exercise, you can put the floss on and use it through that range of motion, and you're going to get those benefits of the self-myofascial release and that blood flow restriction to strengthen those tissues in that specific movement where you're having an issue. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to wrap the floss. I'll take you through a couple of my movements that I'll do normally while it's at the hip, and you'll be free to go from there. Ready? Let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, starting with the wrap rolled, you're going to hang part of it down on the inner thigh from the half kneeling position. Now I do want to make sure I'm as high up in the hip crease as I can get. I'm going to take the roll around the back of the leg there as I pin the band down with the other hand to help hold it in place. Now I do want my tension to be pretty high because there's a lot of muscle here, so I'm going to be using like an 8 to 9 out of 10 on my scale. And that's just, again, relative, but we just want to make sure that we have enough tension on those tissues so that when we take it off, there would be some lines left in the leg, and that's okay, and the blood flow is going to get restricted here. When you get to the end, you're going to tie it off in a place that you can see, so you want to make sure the end of the wrap ends in a place where you can see it and easily release it when you're ready. So as soon as it's wrapped, we're going to get right into the movements. Here I'm doing a bit of a hip shift with the one leg open. I'm working the adductors here, really focusing on that stretching open through this shift to the side. So I want to drive my knee over the toes as much as I can and really open up the inner thigh into that stretch with this shift. Next, we're going to shift our focus into the hamstrings and the hip flexors a bit. So here I'm getting into a nice deep lunge and I'm pushing back from the front leg. So with the placement of that wrap, we're getting those high hamstring tissues, which is real nice. And I want to make sure that I'm working those tissues with some movement here. So pushing through, rocking back and forth as I'm in this position. We're also getting the hip flexors of the back leg. And oftentimes I'll have both legs wrapped at the same time, even though here I'm only showing one side wrapped. So you could do both at the same time and save yourself some time rather than having to do each separate and go through these movements twice. From here, we're going to shift into external rotation of the hip in a nice pigeon position. I like to interlace my fingers with my toes, get one hand on my knee, and then from there I'm going to contract the glutes and relax, sinking deeper into the stretch each time and allowing myself to get a little bit closer to the floor with my pelvis. Next, we're going to get those adductors again with a little more length to the leg this time, so longer lever. What I'm going to do is take a nice wide stance, and I'm going to put my hands to the floor, and I'm going to be rocking back and forth in this position. So I'm keeping my quads engaged, I do have my feet engaging the floor, and then from there I'm just kind of testing that range of motion that I have in this rocking movement. Now, if you need, you can also take it a little bit deeper by adding height to the feet. So if I put plates under each feet, we'd go a little bit further from there. Or if you need to back it down, you can also go with the arms extended in this position and work from there. Next, we're going into the quads and the hip flexors a little bit more directly here. So I'm using a couch stretch to do this. So I'm going to prop my leg against the wall, and I'm dropping that knee right in the corner so that shin and foot are flat against the wall as much as possible. And then from there, I'm coming up as vertical as I can without arching my low back. Keep my abs braced, and you can see me straining a little bit. That's because I'm adding a contraction to my glutes. So I want to flex my glutes for about 5 seconds and then relax. Flex my glutes for about 5 seconds and then relax. And this is going to help restore, again, that control and balance over the hip with those hip flexors and the glutes in relation to each other. And then the last one we're going to do here is a butterfly position. So we're going to shift into feet together, but in the corner of the room here, back against the wall. And I'm going to actively resist myself, pushing my knees up into my hands for about 5 seconds. And then I'm going to relax and allow my knees to open a little bit closer to the floor, so we get that fluttering of the butterfly wings going on here. And I'm going to do that a few times in this position. Now, it's important to know that you have about 5 minutes tops when you have that floss on, if you have it wrapped correctly, because of the blood flow restriction effect. So you do have to move pretty consistently from one position to the next, and you will start to notice that the foot starts to get a little bit pale. Then after those movements, you'll remove it and you'll get a nice reperfusion effect in there. All right, and there you have it. How to take your hip mobility sessions to the next level using mobility floss. If you like this video, make sure you let me know by clicking that thumbs up down below, and take a moment to share this one with a friend. Maybe they're working on their hip mobility in general. Maybe they have a hip issue that they're trying to resolve. Pass the love their way. If you're somebody who's struggling with a hip injury, or you're trying to improve your hip mobility overall and it's been limiting your overall movements, you're struggling in the gym because of it, and you want my direct help getting through this issue, what I want you to do right now is drop down below into the description and fill out a coaching application to schedule a mobility blueprint call. This will be our opportunity to get on a Zoom call together so that I could first of all take you through an assessment, gather the information I need to tailor that program specific to your needs, and then lay out for you in full detail what that program would look like, and any other questions you have, we can answer for you at that time as well. So if that sounds good to you and you're looking for that kind of help, drop down below in that description right now, schedule that call, and we'll get moving in the right direction. Last but not least, if you have not already, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine, and it does not get better than that. So take advantage of it. Welcome to the Stronghold Army. We'll see you next week.